Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fathoms Deep, a Black Sails podcast from Common Room Radio. I'm Liz Stevens.
And I'm Daphne Olive. And surprise, we have Zach McGowan with us.
Hi, how's it going? Zach McGowan here.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome, Zach. We're so thrilled you're here. I gotta say, it's pretty awesome how engaged you are still with this show that, spoilers, everyone. Your character's dead.
It basically killed you, right? Just killed you off. We don't need that guy. He's just a plot point anyway.
Yeah, I love the show. I'm friends with everyone in it. And, I think when I was taken off from the show, we weren't really even sure whether the show was going to go back at all.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those things, to be honest, as much as I missed season 4, being down there in Cape Town was a long time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a long time making the show, and it was an effort of love. So it's exciting to see that people still resonate with the character, or the character resonates with them. He's obviously a fun guy to play. So, but I feel like I get I get to kind of do pieces of him kind of everywhere these days. So.
Oh, nice. And he did have a good death. He had a good ending. And I think that counts for a lot.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I think early on, all the pirates kind of knew that at some point, most likely they were going to die.
Sure.
I guess the way in life you have it, you have the way you hope you go, in life. And then there's the way you hope you go in play life, I guess. And I think that was our. I always just said that to John. I just feel I hope he doesn't grovel, don't kill me.
Oh yeah, that would have been painful to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the end they can write anything for you to do and whatnot. So I was just glad that he got to do it the way he should have done it.
Yes. Right. Literally walk off the back of that wagon, which was. Yeah. It was a thing of beauty.
It was a great scene as far as being impacted. I think it was funny because none of the extras I think believed it was actually happening. So I think when you work with on big stuff, a lot of extras, you can kind of gauge what the audience reaction will be based on.
Sure.
Oh, I never just thought of that. Yeah.
Exactly. Because you actually they get to see it over and over and over and over again.
Right.
Sure.
An entire day.
I will always remember watching that sequence play out because I was so convinced, at first at least, that there's no way that they were going to kill Charles Vane, that they just wouldn't do it. And it was something in the music, in the composition of the music. And I think the absence occasionally of music is what told me they are absolutely going to kill this guy. That's it. This is the end.
It's the way it goes. What is it? As far as characters go, there wasn't much more for him to do that would have been different than what he'd already done.
It's totally true.
And I think on TV you have this kind of choice whether to keep the machine turning because people are watching and you can just keep making more episodes.
Yeah. And
telling a story start to finish that has, an arc to it that tells a tale, so to speak. And I think John and them, decided to do the latter, where they, where, I don't see. It's it's like shows like that, the great shows of all time that could have, done 10 seasons, 20 seasons, but it wouldn't have been a better story for having done more seasons. It would have just been more of that story and more money made. So in that way, I kind of feel proud to be a part of one of those series that I feel ended on its own.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much integrity in that. I completely agree.
Well, I don't know, it's like I was talking to John about it recently. I was at John's house actually for dinner last weekend. And, it was to me, it goes up there with the shows that I love, which are The Wire and Breaking Bad and, and Sopranos and those shows that ended because they were done telling a story, not wanted to see another episode of it.
And your character in that short span, well, it wasn't really a short span, but I suppose these days 3 seasons is. It felt like a long effing time, I'm sure, for you guys. Yeah, and especially being so far from home. And we've heard a lot about that as we've talked to the actors that are on the show, that it becomes like summer stock theater where you're just sequestered and away, and this becomes your community.
It's its own world. TV shows, like I'm working on The 100 right now. I've been working on The 100 for the last season. And TV shows are like that. Like when you do a TV show, like you really can't be doing anything else. You're just making that television show. And so Black Sails seasons were 8 months long almost. And so for 3 years, for 8 months, a year, I was in South Africa doing that. I remember I was watching something behind the scenes DVD commentary thing on The Matrix before I'd started working as an actor, and it was just Keanu Reeves talking about how what people don't understand is like The Matrix was like 5 years of his life. Like he was like, that was like what I did for 5 years. Like that was all I did was make that and do the choreography for the fights and stay in shape. That was 5 years effort. So, for Black Sails, I guess it was 4 years for some, and for me, it was 3 years of just straight, of straight effort in that way. That's what these things are. I'm gonna go get another beer as we talk.
Fabulous.
Do that.
Good that
Absolutely.
I'm on the phone.
Okay, and then I have a bunch of questions for you. Oh, you're gonna do
it?
Right.
Yeah.
While
you ask. I can hear you.
Fabulous. Okay. Well, Zach, while you're walking around your house, maybe I should ask you one of the easier questions while you're doing this. Can I just tell the listeners what's going on right now? Do you mind?
Yeah, that I'm walking around my house.
Yeah. Okay. So listeners,
I'm walking into I'm in my garage. That's where the beer fridge is.
Hell yeah, it is. Like a red-blooded American man.
Yeah, but I got my beer is made in Mexico. It's Tecate, but it's so good. It's so good.
Sure.
Oh my God, you're killing me. Okay, listeners, we are video chatting with Zach, and he's like walking around his house, and now we got to see his garage and his fridge for the beer, and I'm just trying to focus on my very serious Black Sails questions that I had.
Sure.
But I'm super amused right now.
I almost bought a bottle of the Zaya rum yesterday because that's the one that I heard that you recommended.
John told us.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
That's the one, motherfucker. It's right there. I'm sorry, I just F-worded. But yes,
well, you're
I
allowed
almost...
to fuck. You're allowed to say fuck on the internet.
Yeah, we totally say fuck on the internet. Stars PR sent me a rum that was really good.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I've never really drank rum. And then I was like, what rum did you all drink in Black Sails World? And he's like, Zach drinks this Zaya. And he told me that you had bought it out from every place all over around you.
So yeah, I definitely buy out the rum in the neighborhood sometimes.
So I was drinking that last night what was I doing last night? I was just editing one of our podcasts, but I was drinking that last night. Tonight I'm on Scotch, but I really like the Zaya. It's quite good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Less inexpensive in Maryland, it seems, than in California.
Oh, really? I was going to say it was pretty darn affordable here, I saw.
Yeah,
it's I want to say like $25, $30, something like that. It was very affordable.
I get it for $19.99.
Oh, no, it's like $30 in Maryland.
Yeah.
We actually, me and John and our wives were out to dinner a while ago at a restaurant, and we got it at a restaurant, and we got it for like $20 a glass, and I was like, I get a bottle of this.
Yeah.
This price.
That's
highway robbery.
Well, that's like that.
Yeah, nowadays to be a pirate, all you have to do is sell rum at a high price.
Or any alcohol.
I was going to say,
if
there's
you
a
want to steal
stagecoach
from
joke in there.
unsuspecting citizens.
Do you want to dismount from your horse and just run at someone and tear off your mask and then just shoot the motherfucker down? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's another way to do it. That's definitely
another way to do it. If you have achieved that kind of baller status, then you could do it that way.
Absolutely.
Alternatively, run a restaurant, sell expensive rum.
If more than anything, if you're not afraid to jump off of a moving horse,
apparently you are not. So you talked them into that, right, Zach?
I totally talked them into that. And to be honest, there was no way they were going to let me do that, except they didn't need me anymore.
Right. Because they knew they were going to kill you.
I'd already been hung, so I was like, whatever. I had to sign all kinds of shit, hurt yourself.
Oh no.
And they were like, just don't hurt yourself, please don't.
And I was like, listen, if I feel like it's going to be bad, I won't jump off the horse.
I think that Lucas told us that already and that we had to cut it out because in the progress of our podcast, we hadn't reached Vane's death yet.
We hadn't got to that episode yet. Yeah, that's right. So now this might be the first time that the listeners are actually hearing that story that we know.
Right,
yeah.
That's true. We had to cut that out.
Chris Symes, Lucas, obviously Lucas wanted me to do it, and I wanted to do it, and we were all, the stunt team wanted to do it. It was all, John, everyone wanted it, but it was more of just a question of the insurance of reality.
Sure.
So it's not actually, what I was doing is not all that dangerous in reality, but the way insurance kind of looks at it, like, there are other riders behind me.
Right.
So if I fall or if I get stuck, the big thing was if I get stuck in the stirrup and the horse, so,
Ooh. Yeah.
Right. Things you don't want to think about.
There's a lot of places that can go wrong.
Right.
But I just went out and, I knew I could do it, so I just did it.
So wait, you're a New York boy. Did you grow up with horses?
No, I don't know how to ride horses. I did that. I learned for the show.
I love it.
But it turns out it's not that hard. Yeah, it's like I think what it is that most people are afraid of horses.
Yes.
And then the horse senses that, and then you can't, ride it. And I was lucky. The person who was teaching me kind of in South Africa, I was like, all right, so what's the deal? Like if this horse, doesn't, want to go where I want it to go, he was like, then make it clearer that you want to go. I found that if you just, I got on the horses and I realized at first I was being a little too rough, and I learned kind of how to just be subtle with them. And that was, I think, my learning curve was that. But early on, I guess I was like firm with them, and I didn't have, the fear of I don't know. I ride motorcycles, so I think maybe that helps.
My husband also motorcycles, and he's good with horses. There might be
I think if you're used to that speed and having nothing around you, you know what I mean? You're sure. I was always looking at it like worst case scenario. This horse can only run 40 miles an hour. On a bike. I'll just ditch off a bike at 45 miles an hour if I have to, if I can roll.
Right.
No, but the stirrup thing, because, it's one thing to dismount at that speed. It's another thing to be dragged at that speed.
True story.
But it's good you weren't thinking about that.
I'm sure. Actually did, it was on take, I think we did 7 or 8 of them. And I think the one that we ended up using there, that is, I think, take 2 or 3.
It is spectacular.
But, yeah, but
it's iconic now, I'm sure you know.
Oh, well, thanks.
It's a favorite GIF.
Yes, I use that GIF on a regular basis.
What's funny is a lot of people send it to me, people who are from my life who don't know the show. It's weird. Within my life, a lot of friends I have from high school and things like people who don't know the show, will get that GIF, see it from somewhere and send it to me. I get it a lot.
That's so funny.
It's one of those things you have all those choices in life of some people will be like, "What are you, stupid? Why are you gonna jump off a horse?" You know what I mean? Where it's you have
to tell the story later.
You're I just didn't want that to be bullshit. It's the whole reason that he gets killed is saving Jack, and I was I just wanted that to be whatever the best it could be. And I felt like it'd be bullshit to do that really long take. That it was just a long take, and then there's not a single actor on one of those horses. It's just all people wrapped up like mummies.
Right.
It was great. I got to do. What was cool is I obviously had to keep up with the with all the horse team riding and whatnot. So because it was such a long time, I got to do a lot of riding. It's just so fantastic.
No, I'm so pleased you did it. It was such. I remember as much as I was really involved in that scene at the time. I remember the moment that you took your mask off and I saw that it was actually you. It wasn't a moment of me suddenly being taken out of the story and going, oh my God, that's actually Zach McGowan. But it was a moment of it was a very powerful moment without being taken out of the story.
Yeah, to me, that was, I think was our goal with it. I guess we didn't want it to be too action movie in the sense that it needed to be realistic and real and whatnot. And given the circumstances of how we were shooting it, it was impossible to be anything else. I don't know if you see, but in that take that it's in, my horse stumbles. I almost went straight over the top of the horse during that.
Oh
basically, it had been raining and there was all these like potholes and stuff, and my horse was in pretty much just full on gallop. I mean, I was trying to, because I had to be in front of everyone else, so I had to be winning the like gallop race with this horse.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd only ridden like 6 times.
Wow.
And like it like tripped, and I almost like fell, but then it was like it got its footing again, and that's when I pulled the thing out, and that thing was heavy. It was annoying.
Okay, that's
all. The whole thing, but actually, I think I twisted my ankle a little bit on like the 6th or 7th take, and then we did like 2 more, and then it was like, Lucas was like, dude, I mean, so do you want to do more? And I was like, I'll do them till the cows come home. It's awesome. I was like, whatever. You know, I used to be a running back in football, so like the twisted ankle, you know, it sucks, but you just tape it up.
Yep, just do the work. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Well, I'm so glad you did. Again, iconic moment. Classic Charles Vane.
It is an amazing moment.
Well, you got so many great fight sequences, and did you get to do most of your stage combat also?
Yeah, I mean, actually, in that show, I did like actually all of it. There was never a time actually in that show they did anything. Yeah, actually, there was one time when Ned Lowe kicked me backwards over that desk.
Yeah.
They did one take where the stunt double went back over the desk into the cannon, and there's like 1 second of that cut where it's not me. That one moment they weren't me. And then when like my body's like hanging in the gibbets like after.
Yeah,
right,
sure.
That's not me.
Right. That doesn't need to be you. That would be.
You had, though, my favorite fight choreography. You got such great stuff. The sand throw in the guy's eye was such just like good, dirty pirate fighting.
Yeah, that was like a morning of thing, actually. That wasn't in the
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't know we didn't know where we were doing it and what we would be on. Like we were pretty sure it was going to be on that area, but like you never know because like sometimes last minute something will happen, or something happens to the set and you've got to do it somewhere else or whatever. The idea was I was walking through town somewhere, right?
Right.
You know, to try to get out of town, and that when we kind of saw there, I was like, hey, when I'm down there on the ground, do that. Give us a second, because like one of those things. It's like when you do those like duck moves under swords and stuff like that. It's always a little. It's a little bullshit. Yeah. So like I was like, I always fight towards like letting them hit me more and like stuff like that. Like I'm always like, why can't he punch me like 4 times in the face? Like
Yes.
I don't know. Because I always feel like when I watch movies and you watch like kind of classic action.
Sure.
The issue I have with it is like some guy kicks some other guy's butt, or kicks like 9 guys' asses, and didn't get punched in the face once. Like at least if you're gonna have someone like beat up 9 people, at least like at least someone was from behind them and hit with
right.
the chair.
Give them something to show for it, right?
Yeah. So we always pushed. I would always push for that, and I mean. Grant Powell, who was the fight choreographer on the team, he, we worked so long together that he would know those things, and he'd be like, so like Ned's gonna get you around the neck with a rope, and he's gonna be choking you to death, and you're like Fox, and you just gotta get him off, Yeah. It's so clear that you guys had so much fun shooting the show, and it brings me great joy. Because, of course, we enjoy watching it, but the fact that you all became family in the way that you did, and that, that you have such good memories that you're carrying from it, makes me love the show even more. Forever. In fact, actually, I mean, here, I'll show you this. You're in my house, so I'll show you. Look what, let me turn the light on so it looks nice at least. Sure. There you go. That's over my dad's place. Oh yeah! Oh, wow. Look at that. You know this thing, right? This thing, that thing, and this thing.
Oh shit!
Oh
my god!
Sorry, I got excited.
Okay, listeners, we're now looking at Charles Vane's sword.
That.
Yeah, that's I mean, but that's also like the show kind of pretty much bought most of this house, so I figured. Fair enough. Right. Ought to pay it tribute a little bit, right?
The house that Black Sails bought.
There's a little shameless. There's a little shameless in this house. There's a little Black Sails. There's a little 100.
I actually know you from Shameless. Jody was my first character for you.
I loved playing Jody. He was such a I mean, I got really early, like, as my first two shows, I think I got just so lucky in the quality of stuff I got to do early on with that.
Yeah, can we just take a break for a second from Black Sales Talk? You totally worked with Joan Cusack. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Joan is a good friend. I love Joan. I mean, I think me and Joan, as people, will share a connection forever. I mean, we did some pretty absurd shit together on that show.
Yes, you did.
I haven't seen it.
And same with Bill. I mean,
call me curious.
Yeah, no, Liz, you need to watch. Which season did you start in Shameless? Was it season 2?
I did season 2 and 3. I was a guest star all season 2 and a series regular all season. It's epic for a whole nother reason.
Yes.
Like, it's a whole different kind of epicness from Zach McGowan than a Charles Vane act.
It was actually, to be honest. I mean, I talked about this early in the podcast. Jody, I mean, I know, whatever, professional podcaster.
Hashtag proper podcaster, is it? Because of proper pirate. Yeah. I mean, let's tell it like
podcast,
it is.
I know.
Proper podcast.
I got to say, Jody was a little bit of an impediment for me in the beginning with Vane because I was such a fan of Shameless that I was just like, wait a minute, what's Jody doing here?
Yeah, it's one of those, it's one of those things that, as an actor, you hope people can come on the imaginary ride with you.
Yes, I did. I did. It just took me a tiny bit longer. Like, Liz was a Vane fan from
the word go.
Right.
You liked Vane back when he was stabbing the old black Santa Claus and burying him on the beach.
Yes, exactly.
And then the next episode, stabbing the old black Santa Claus, another guy who looks like the old. In the first 2 episodes, they had me kill the black Santa Claus twice. I felt I was like, those actors were like these kind, old, beautiful souls. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, everyone is going to
let me just kill them.
It's true. And you know what? You know when I loved you is when this is terrible and I'm a terrible. You know what? Never mind. I'm owning it. When you punched Eleanor in the face, and I was like, I like this guy.
You know what?
Why do I like it? This is bad. Am I a terrible feminist?
So I made a choice in that where I was like, I remember I was like, damn, they really are introducing me so terribly. I mean, I gotta kill old, cute old men, they just don't deserve to die. And then I have to punch a beautiful young blonde girl who if you're gonna like the show, you're gonna have to like. And I'm going to have to punch her in the face.
Huh.
I was like, they're going to hate me. And then I was like, you know what I got to do? I got to punch her in the face like out of equality.
Yes,
exactly.
This because you can take it.
Yeah. Because you shouldn't walk into a bar and punch someone in the face regardless. And that's what she's doing.
But it's true. It's you don't pick on the little guy, and Vane never picks on the little guy. He decks Eleanor in that scene because I don't want to say she has it coming. Oh, what have I walked into? I'm going to get so many emails about this.
Yeah,
okay.
You have to stop because you're going to get in trouble because it's all right to hit women or something.
Right. Which is not what I'm saying.
No, the thing that I've learned, I mean, it's in these imaginary worlds and whatnot. You can't get too literal with how those things cross over into reality of the, it's 2017. We're not in that song.
Exactly. Well, and when you said, or rather when Vane said, I forget the beginning of the line, but the end is, I may just forget that I loved you once. Nope, I was in. I was just like, and here's the thing about Vane is that Vane.
That was the audition scene.
Oh, was it really? Okay, because
tell us about your audition.
Yeah, I've got to say, you've not necessarily listened to all of our episodes, but I've got to say, all of the actors have done you doing Vane.
Everybody does.
They do my Vane voice. Schmitz has a pretty damn good one.
Oh my God! Toby did not only Vane, but Toby did in our interview. He did you in addition to doing Vane.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He did Zach and he did Vane. It's true.
He's a pretty solid actor, that guy.
Yeah, he's not bad.
I love him. there's really, he's one of those guys, like, there's really not much he couldn't do. He could play anyone.
Yes.
He's really, I mean, I think we really lucked out with a lot of those kind of elements of the cast. I mean, either John and Robert are, like, absolutely the most brilliant casters, like, like at casting of that process, or they also got, like, super lucky because, I mean, it's unbelievable kind of the depth we ended up with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We agree completely. Again, we like this show a lot.
I think it's one of those, I don't even think you can make that show again. Like, I don't think, like,
no.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that just, it was.
Yes. We just found out that Hulu picked up the first 3 seasons, and people are going to start watching now, which gets us so excited because
it's about to blow up onto a much
under the radar. Yes. And I'm so glad because, I mean, no show has earned it more. And we talked, of course, in the beginning about how it's just not the show that you expect it to be. And so a lot of people will gloss over it, will miss it. And there's so much exquisite work that happens.
All right, everyone. Well, that's where we lost Zach because, our fate is to always
That's right. Because technology hates me specifically. I feel like it's just bleeding off on everyone else. And you're like getting some kind of residual curse from how much technology hates Liz personally. So my profound apologies. I take the full blame for the loss of Zach McGowan. I was really enjoying his company, you guys.
Yeah, so was I. We were having so much fun. We hope it was super fun for you all. And he has said that he will be happy to come back as soon as he has time. So we will.
Good.
Yes, we will ask him lots more questions. Perhaps drink a little bit less. I don't know. I make no promises.
No promises.
But we'll have loads of fun with him again, hopefully soon. But if not soon, then later on.
Sure.
He's a busy man.
Fair enough.
All righty. Well, so that's it for tonight.
And we hope you enjoyed it. So until next time from Common Room Radio, I'm Liz Stevens.
And I'm Daphne Olive. Bye, Zach.
Bye, Zach. Fathoms Deep is a Common Room Radio production. For more information and access to other programs, please visit us at commonroomradio.com. To show your support, pledges of as little as $1 a month can be made to patreon.com/commonroomradio. Join the conversation by using the hashtag FathomsDeep and follow us on Twitter at BlackSalesCast. We ask that you keep your tweets respectful and positive, and please avoid spoilers. If you have more to say, we want to hear it in all its spoiler glory. Email us at podcast@commonroomradio.com with Fathoms Deep in the subject line. Thanks for listening.
Okay, Liz, talk to me.
I'm talking to you, gorgeous. What do you want me to say?
That's it. Okay, Zach, can you talk to me?
That's it? Perfect.
What do you want me to say?
That was also perfect. Talking. We're good. I hear both of you. Okay, fabulous.
Open that door wide open for us. You didn't even take it, Daphne. Come on.
That's your job, sweetie. Okay.